Culture is literally everything.
Culture, I feel like culture has everything to do with who I am.
It's a way of expressing yourself.
I didn't realize how little I didn't have because my life was so rich with culture.
You are now listening to Season 3, Episode 4 of the Real Confessions Podcast. Welcome to the Real Confessions Podcast. I'm your host and producer, Aida Ozuna, and I am glad that you're here. Today, we are going to explore the question, what does culture mean to you? I know for me, this is something that I never really sat back to think about. So today's going to be very, very special. I am attending an event by the name of Under the Coconut Tree, and it is, y'all, a Dominican photo exhibit by Rebel Spectrum. And I'm super excited to explore this. A little bit about the event and the photo exhibition is that it celebrates and acknowledges and questions Dominican culture. It's a project that is deeply rooted in identity and enriched in modern day and historical perspectives. So one thing about me is that I do not just attend an event, I immerse myself in the event, in the art, in the culture, and most importantly, tonight, we're going to be connecting with others. My goal tonight is to ask the question, what does culture mean to you, and how has it shaped you? Hopefully we hear some answers. Hopefully we get some good conversation going because I think it's super important. And I hope that by creating this episode, it inspires you to reflect on what culture means to you. So we're going to recap at the end, but let's go ahead and enjoy the event and go ahead and tag along and join me. So picture this, you're in the back of an Uber with me and my friend. We're about an hour or so out, running about an hour or two behind. But we're on our way, just thinking out loud, and these are some things we talk about. Thank you. Testing, 1 2 1 2. Look, this is my thing.
And when it's recording, it's on green, or?
It's recording right now.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we're doing testing, 1 2. Okay. There's too many buttons. Okay. That's cool.
I did, just in case, bring these where I just plug it in my phone.
Okay, you came prepared.
It takes a lot of creativity to be able to turn what you see in your mind and what you experience into film and into things and content that people can understand. So it's really hard. Not a lot of people know how to do that.
No, that's true. It is, especially like you said, like what you have in your mind, but then when you actually try to do it, it might not be the same how you have in your mind. So you might have to change a few things or like find out what's wrong with that thing that you have in your mind to make the visual.
Mm-hmm. But it's hard to just, it's not like the majority. We're not the majority. Dominicans, we're not the majority in media at all. Even just Black people, people of color in general, it's white dominated. So our Uber arrives to the destination, finally. We step outside the car and we start walking towards the building. Now, the closer we get to the building, the closer the music gets. And the sound of community, I start to hear it. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous at this point, but we finally decided to step in the building. Hi, how are you? Good. And the gun, look at the gun. Oh my God, this is a style of painting in DR right here. Have you ever had yuca?
Give me a description, like what it does, what it do.
So you
eat it.
You don't eat it. You can fry it, you can boil it. So it's sort of like a plantain. Yeah. That's called a pilon. A pilon y una greca. So if you couldn't tell already, my friend that came with me isn't Dominican. But that was the beauty of this event. The crowd was so diverse. Like, I did not only see my fellow Latinos, my fellow Dominicanos, I also saw people from all different walks of life and backgrounds. I observed white people in the building, Black people in the building, Hispanic people in the building, and it was beautiful to see everyone immersed in the culture. As soon as I walked in, I felt at home. The lighting is dim, there's art on the walls, people are together conversing. On the right-hand side of you, you have food. The table was set with pollo guisado, which is chicken, arroz blanco, which is white rice, habichuela, which is beans. And it was beautiful. As I finally took time to connect with everyone, read the room, explore the art, eat some food, I finally mustered up the courage to ask the first person I connected with what culture means to them. And this is what they had to say. What is your name?
My name is Taya or Angel, whichever one is fine.
All right, so what does culture mean to you and how has it shaped you?
Ooh, that's such a loaded question because, like, literally, just my partner was just saying, culture is quite literally everything. It's the air that we breathe, it's the music that we listen to, the art that we see on the street, the clothes that we put on our back. Like, culture influences so much of everything around us, whether it be like culture related to like ethnicity or like geographic like culture, or whether it's like queer culture or like the people that you fuck with and found family. Like, it just means everything. Like, it's really important, and I feel like having opportunities to bring community and culture together, there's nothing like it. It's really good.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Alrighty, and what was your name?
My name is Nar, N-A-R. It means fire in Arabic.
Ooh, wait, say that again.
Nar.
Nar, what does it mean?
Fire in Arabic, but it's also like in the Quran they say anar is like the fire is like how you call hell in the Quran.
Oh.
So like one time I went to like a meet and greet, and it was like I was meeting someone who like he wasn't from the States, and I told him my name was Nar, and he's like, ooh, scary.
Mysterious.
What culture? I mean, I feel like angels took all my answers. I mean, it's like, yeah, what you speak, what you breathe, what you eat, what you listen to. But for me, it's also something, personally, it's something very grounding. Like it's a home to always go to, even though it's not like a physical thing or even like a tangible thing, but because it exists and it's all around you, it's like something you can always go back to. I don't know, yeah, whenever I'm surrounded by like food and like things, even if I'm not surrounded by my family, I can go back to my family in that certain way. So it's like just a very like grounding place. It's like a home base in a way.
So like home away from home, you would say.
Yeah, it's a home you take with you.
So if you don't mind me asking, where are you from? Or what's your culture? Or memories that you have, growing up of your culture?
I'm from New Jersey, but my mom is from Ecuador. My dad is from Egypt, and I would say food. Food is a strong thing for us in our family. And yeah, I guess like also like religion, like faith. Being Muslim. That's also always a community you can go back to. And I don't know, just having fun. I feel like my Latinx side is all about like having fun and enjoying like just like a lot of things in life. I didn't even know I was poor like growing up because my mom made really good food. She always played really good music. It's like I didn't even I didn't realize how little I didn't have because my life was so rich with culture. I'm gonna leave it right there.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm Dexter, security top flight. So yeah, I love this question. Culture is literally everything. It's the reason we're here even talking. It's culture. Like, okay, you could go to every last one, any culture you want. You could take an onion, a pepper, and different types of like mushrooms and all types of the same fucking thing. It has so many different dishes. That's culture.
Yes.
We got the same clothing on, but you wore it different. That's culture. Like I knew better not to tuck these and put these on here. I knew to have my socks when I go to LA. You know what I'm saying? It's culture. It's something that you do without even having to be said. It's food, it's water, it's how you drink water. In Europe, people that drink water from out of water bottles have to hold their hand to the side because the little cap that sit on the side of their hand. People don't even know that. It's like, what? They sit there and they're like, why did it come off? Like, they're looking like I can't put it back on. Like, yeah, you could twist it. Like, oh, that's culture. It's different culture. That's why. It's a shame because it's everything, and it's also everything it's not. Culture also has a bad downside to it because of like jealousy in between two different cultures. Your culture look better than mine. Your culture does stuff better. Culture is just different. It's not that better. It's not even a different scale. It's just the way we like. You could learn different culture. That's the beauty about culture. You could learn another culture. But you can't also actually have and grab and be part of. If you, it just has to be into you. It's like when you grow up. Like you ever hear, it's the simplest question. Gang members in anywhere. Where you from?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, that's what they say. They'll ask you a question, like, where are you from? And it's like, if you give the wrong answer, you know what I'm saying?
Based off of what you say.
Just based off, just right there, they're like, oh, you from where? Oh, or, hey, yeah, you from here. That's culture. He didn't have to do it. He has to do it. He's got a program to it. It's everything you see, videos, TV, the way you process, the way you handle different situations, even in relationships, even in just life in general, business and just business, dealing with your family, friends, everything. Culture is the way in what shapes you to be unique, because everyone processes and handles and picks up different cultures and learn different cultures differently and separately and apply that in their regular life. Like right now, I got on a jacket. I know for a fact out here in the area where I'm at, this kind of jacket is good because, I don't have to wear too many layers. It stops just the cold, you know what I'm saying? You know where you're from, wear the hoodie and then put a jacket over the hoodie because why? You grew up in the culture where that was, that was a good fashion statement, but it also actually worked and it was logical. So that's what culture is. It shaped everything besides the earth, actually,
There we go.
That's culture.
Culture. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that.
No problem. Thanks.
So we have here.
John Luis Holguín.
Okay. Thank you. And what does culture mean to you and how has it shaped you?
For me, culture, to be honest, I feel like it's a way of expressing yourself. Sometimes, like, there's different cultures out here that define you. ¿Cómo te digo? Como que algunas veces la comida depende de where you from. La cultura, el ambiente, el esfuerzo que uno hace también. Que el arte significa mucho para uno. I don't know, there's like various things that, that defines your culture and how it shaped me. I don't know, I'm Dominican, so...
Okay. So born and raised?
No, I was born in New York City, but my family's from Dominican Republic. But me, like, traveling out there, you can see the difference in how people live and what people have to do to survive.
Right.
So you kind of, like, appreciate where they come from and how they like, tú sabes, para cosechar su cosa y cosas así. So culture means a lot to me. I ain't gonna lie, so...
And how about any memories that come to mind in terms of you growing up that you have of culture? De la cultura, memoria.
Bueno, la habichuela, el arroz, la carne, la comida, el mangú, el presidente, tú sabes.
I'm dead. Alrighty. Well, thank you. I appreciate you sharing.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you.
We have here
Anthony Nunez con la ñ.
Nunez. Okay. Alrighty. So my question to you would be, what does culture look like for you? How has it shaped you? Memories that you have, anything like that. And we hear Anthony Santo in the back.
Yeah. Culture. I feel like culture has everything to do with who I am and the way it shaped me. Both American and Dominican culture. So it kind of feels like I have too many personalities because like the Dominican Republic itself has these subcultures, and then America does that times 10. So it's people find it crazy that, like, oh, I'm Dominican, but I like certain country songs from the 70s.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm constantly I guess battling, trying to figure out who I am, even though I clearly know who I am and what my morals are, is just what pocket I fit in. Like how they were saying how you're almost in a limbo because you're too Dominican for the whites, you're too Dominican for America, and then you go to DR and you're too American for the Dominicans. Yeah, and that chapter 3 is like it's really important, so especially our because you were born here too, right? So especially for our people and people like us go through that like all the time, and I guess the most important thing about culture is the things that you're good, huh? We're just having a conversation. She's been recording. Yo, she's the best. She's been recording the whole time. Man. You already been imitating 4K, like high res audio.
I was wondering why I didn't react to that loud ass.
No,
I did.
We did, yo. I saw her face. But don't get around.
See, wait.
You see, this is Dominican culture. We're over here trying to be mad serious and oh fuck, everything's a fucking joke.
So, what did you take away from this event?
That it's actually, if you're creative and you don't overthink things, it's incredibly easy to show other people outside of your culture what your culture is and what it means to you. Because, especially with images, right? How they say images are worth, a picture is worth 1,000 words, and the way they curated this, and like that one girl said, it does feel like a Dominican household. Like obviously there's certain things, but it had a vibe, right? You had your little food plates, your little bandejas, you had grandma's corner, bachata, and then bowl playing in the background. So it was just it's like they used all of our senses.
All of the elements.
All the elements, yeah, but also all of our senses because we could smell the food, we could hear the music, and we're seeing like the photo album. My mom has like 25 of those photo albums. I'm talking about this thick. Like my whole life from birth to like my baby hair, the rope. Yo, my mom, they'd be saving the shit. My mom has a rose that my dad gave her in '96, bro.
Yeah,
like
that's crazy.
That's crazy. I love how my mom did that. I'm so appreciative. Yeah, that she did that because it helps me remind me of my culture. Because I go through time. I don't remember, the party that they had when I was 1 year old, but I can go back and like see how they dressed, how we dressed back then, and just the vibe. You could feel it through the picture. Like this one girl said, you could feel things through the picture. So it was cool to see how easy it was for her to. Because I get it right away because we're Dominican Americans, right? So it makes so much sense for us right away. But like taking a step back, for like a white lady who comes here and sees it, it's gonna be like overwhelming. Like, whoa, there's a lot of information, and she could just take what she needs from there. And I just thought that was so cool. That was my favorite part about it, actually. Yeah. How easy it was to convey culture through this this mode. Bro, we're Dominicans, bro.
I think at 10:30, it's like probably like 11 something.
Yeah. She said that was gonna happen too. She's like, we'll probably be later, and I was like, yeah. I was like, damn, I'm gonna be late, and then I was like, wait, that's the whole thing.
Me too. Alrighty, so we have here
Joaquin Moore.
Alrighty, Joaquin, and I'm gonna ask you, what does culture mean to you, and how has it shaped you personally?
Culture to me is something that is unique in its own way. I came from somewhere where actually 3 different cultures growing up. I grew up with Hispanics that were Mexican, Puerto Rican, and Dominican. So I had 3 different experiences from each side.
Wow.
And yeah, that kind of shaped me to who I am today as a mixed person, as black and white. So that's unique in its own way, and get to see different varieties and how people's upbringings are different. Just being able to connect with them in a way where, like, even though we, like, as a mixed person, I wasn't able to have the same cultural thing, but like growing up together and everything, we kind of experienced the same thing because we hanged out with each other and like we talked to each other. We just like we're doing a lot of like whatever we was doing, you know what I mean? So in that way, I feel like it's unique in its own way, and what you put and what you bring to it also, not just how one person brings something to the table. It's mostly what everyone brings to the table.
I hope that you are feeling as inspired as I am, y'all. Like, hearing everyone's answers really made me think about what culture means to me, but also made me really so appreciative and grateful for the community that I have. A bit of backstory: I did not know any of the individuals or attendees that were at the event, but that's what culture does. Culture connects us together, even though we may not know each other. Our personalities, the way we show up, the way we express ourselves, humor, all of these things is part of culture. And for me personally, the way I raise my son is because of my culture, because of my upbringing. The beliefs and morals and the support my parents provided to me, and also the discipline growing up in a church, childhood memories, all of those things, culture, the food, being able to, yes, I was born in Florida and I was raised in PA, but also being able to travel to Dominican Republic, to Puerto Rico. My brother is half Puerto Rican. So culture is something that I was fully immersed in, and now more than ever, at the age of 26 years old, I'm super grateful. And lately, I've been feeling more connected to my Dominican identity, especially as a creative. And recently, I was accepted into a Dominican writers retreat. And moments like that remind me that there are spaces where our story, my story, Dominican story, your culture matters. And it's all about, putting in the work as well to learn more about your culture. There's so many things that I learned during the event, but also because of my own research, so it's all about wanting to learn more, yearning for more, asking and you shall receive. But I just want to say thank you so much for everyone that took part in this conversation. And now we're going to go ahead and segue into the discussion portion of the show. So towards the end of the event, there was a Q&A type of thing. So we had attendees ask questions as well as I asked some questions. It's not going to be the entire Q&A, but I did want to add some moments here. So this is how it went.
We open the floor to the artist of the night.
Hello.
Hi.
How are we doing tonight?
Good.
I'm so glad. Okay, so my name is Amber. I go by Rebel Spectrum. That's my photography name title, but you can call me Amber. This actually started as like a passion project that me and Gigi did last year for what was it, Hispanic Heritage Month? Yeah. And it turned into something that we did like in the middle of the night. It was like 3 a.m. We're like, we should do something really quick before October ends. Let's do something really quick for Hispanic Heritage Month. We wanted a project that encompassed everything about our culture, and it turned into something that inspired other artists to do the same thing. So we're like, okay, next year, let's do it even bigger. So it turned into a photo series where we found Dominican culture into chapters. And I don't know if you guys noticed when you walked around, but everything is broken down into sections. There's 5 chapters of this photo series. The first chapter is The Woman Who Refused to Bow, and that's the one you see over there. And it's about rebellion and religion, the kind of indoctrinated Catholicism that Dominicans were forced to believe in when they were enslaved and colonized by the Europeans. Then we have the second chapter called Chivo Sin Ley, which literally translates to goat without law. And if you were a kid growing up with Dominican parents, you probably heard that. Like if you were really wild and unruly, they would probably say like, oh, there's some Chivo Sin Ley. Like you guys are like wild kids. So this is kind of about the hypocrisy that we have around Dominican culture when it comes to hypersexuality. We blame the youth for being too sexual, too vulgar, right? But we were born into a culture that was already like that and had to swallow a lot of family secrets that kind of created that environment to where, we are kind of more openly sexual, I guess you could say.
That's what I'm making. I didn't have to say that one.
Then we have chapter 3, which is called Ni de aquí ni de allá, which translates to neither from here or there. And this is more like an ode to second-generation Dominicans who grew up with Dominican parents or immigrant parents, but were born in America and kind of have that double identity. And sometimes, when you are born in a country that's predominantly one way and you have a culture that's so strong, it can make you feel like you have a double identity or maybe sometimes no identity at all. So that's kind of what that particular chapter was about. Then we have chapter 4, which is called Honor Her. And that is an ode to our African ancestors. So almost like chapter 1, which is about rebellion and religion. This was kind of about how our African ancestors were stripped of their own identity, religion, and culture, and were forced to believe something that they didn't know. So this is an ode to the African Orisha Oshun. And then our last chapter is called Daughters of the Island. And that is an acknowledgement to our Taino ancestors. We are not gone, we're not erased, we're still here. So that's what that is about. You guys have any questions? Or?
Wait, hold on.
Uber's going to be here in a few minutes, so I just wanted to, I've been very curious about that middle picture right behind you. So I'm just wondering what that symbolizes, because I have a little bit of an idea.
I painted that. So, I have, well, ever since I was a kid, I've had what I call spiritual dreams, where I'll dream things or I'll dream about people that I've never seen before, and then I'll see them, you know, in the future, or when there are things going on that I can't see, then I'll see it in the dream, but I have to interpret it, of course, because when it's spiritual, they never tell you straight up. They kind of make it into like some sort of puzzle that you have to solve.
Yeah, it's sort of like a premonition.
Yes. So the older I get, the clearer the dreams become. So when I had that dream, I was going through a lot. This was like in 2023. I was losing friends. I was not losing. Sorry.
I'm still here, girl.
I was shedding in 2023. And I have this little flaw where I think everybody's good. And the dream was I was in the dark and I was holding a candle just like that. And it was really pitch black. And I felt like I was in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of darkness. And I could hear a lot of voices and stuff in the back behind me. And I didn't know what they were saying, but it felt like they were saying a lot of negative things because I could feel it. And all I can feel in the dream is that I'm like holding on to that little light that I have in that it was a plastic cup. It was funny. And there it looks like an actual candle, but in the dream it was a plastic cup, and I was holding it and trying to keep it away from those voices in the back. And then when I woke up, I'm like, what the hell did that even, like, what does that mean? And then little by little throughout the year, I started noticing, you know, how, you know, who people really were, the people that were around me, who were saying things or talking negatively about me that I wasn't aware of, because again, everybody's nice and everybody's good. So yeah, and then it inspired me to paint that.
Very nice.
I had a question about this last chapter. I feel like when you got to this one, you kind of went quickly. But I guess the Taino people are were the native people that were, you know, colonized and stuff like that. So can you just talk a little bit about that part of the culture, please?
Yes, absolutely. Before Dominican Republic was called Dominican Republic, it was known as the island of Hispaniola, right? And so when Christopher Columbus was looking for America, he stumbled across that island and he thought that it was America. And actually, a lot of people don't know this, but Dominican Republic was the first stop that they made on that journey. And so he kind of settled in that land where there was already people. They were the Arawakans that now we know as the Tainos. So a lot of our history said that they were completely eradicated, that they were wiped out, you know, by disease and, you know, conditions of enslavement. He tried it. But, you know, a lot of us are still here and it's mixed into our DNA. Some tribes are, you know, they're still out there. They're secretive, and I don't blame them for it. But it is a part of our identity, and I feel like, you know, the older we get, or the more into the future we progress, the more they try to erase that part of our culture, but it's still very much a part of who we are. A lot of the words that we use are Taino words, like barbecue, barbacoa, you know, that is a Taino word. So a lot of that is kind of intertwined into our culture and into who we are, our identity, and I want to keep it alive. I don't want us to forget who we are.
So one of the things that we were talking about is the fact that within our culture, within the Dominican culture, we only like to acknowledge like the European aspect. Well, not we, but you know what I mean. We like to acknowledge the European aspect of our DNA because it is considered the more beautiful part. The blue eyes, the thin nose, the pretty
And then
hair.
there's the I know black of the
Yeah, that's I know we're hearing that again now too. I keep seeing funny videos about it. Like I know black, I'm Dominican probably, but we are black, and we do also acknowledge. I know a lot of Dominican people that acknowledge their African roots, but you never ever hear Dominican people acknowledge their indigenous or their native roots. In fact, if you go online and you type in, Tainos, you'll see Puerto Rican people acknowledge their Taino heritage, but we don't ever talk about it. So I'm like, I've been dying to do this. I think since I was a sperm. I was born, and I'm like, I need to do a photo shoot. I need to be in the outfit. I need to.
I just feel like, so I grew up in Minnesota, a very different place, but I still resonate with what you're saying over here, like with the religious aspect and the kind of rebelling against that. It was a very religious culture there too, and like sexuality being repressed and like trying to find that within yourself. I just think, thank you for sharing your story, and the beauty of it all. And I was wondering, are some of these pieces like from your childhood or your family? Because I see like there's found objects throughout this, like there's that tape player back there, or like the crystals over, like there's these pieces over here on the table. Are they from your home? Like, do they have special meaning?
Yeah, some of them.
Yeah.
We robbed her mom. But these are common, common items that you'll find in like a Dominican or Latino household. Some of the stuff is ours from home. Like some of those items I purchased from another artist that did work with resin, and it was so good. I'm like, I have to have all three of them. So, I think that shell was from a trip to Mexico in 2022.
That's my Bible over there on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is mine. So I think the reason why some of these, all of the chapters were personal to us, but particularly that one because, I wasn't born into a religious family. I ended up choosing religion at one point in my life. I became a Christian, and I was, very, very, very committed and dedicated to my beliefs. And the older I got and the more I sought answers, I decided to go, not necessarily, I don't want to say it like a different way because I still, I believe in God. But I had a lot of questions that didn't have answers. So as you can see, like if you look through my Bible there's a lot of tabs. There's a lot of highlights because I like to study. I don't like to speak about things that I don't know about. So, that's something that was really personal to me because I think about it like, wow, if we were, brought to this place and we were forced to believe in this religion, is it real? Is it a real faith or is it control? Because if we had the choice, would we? If we come from a culture that's already rich, we have our own beliefs, we have our own traditions and stuff, and then, we kind of had to adopt it by force, this, the Catholicism, the Christianity. And so it made me think a lot, like, is this something that we're choosing or are we just assimilating to what we know? So yeah, that one kind of like hit a little bit deeper for me. But yeah, a lot of the things in here, again, I stole from my mom's house. That bandana is mine. Yeah, a lot of stuff it is personal because it's a personal project, and it's meant to reflect the truth and make you a little bit uncomfortable. That was intentional. Or to challenge, to make you think a little bit about your own experiences, your own beliefs, and what it truly means to be Dominican.
I have a question. What memories of culture do you have growing up?
No, I've talked enough, girl.
I have a lot of ideas. There's one that I talk about a lot with her that I'm sure a lot of different cultures can relate to, I think, because I think that, we talk about our own stuff, and when we get to talking with other people, we realize we kind of live the same type of lives. So my memory that sticks to me the most is the coat room in the parties, where Dominican families get together for no reason at all. Like, it doesn't even have to be a birthday. Somebody could walk in with a beer, and then somebody else walks in with a beer, and then somebody puts the music on, and somebody's making sancocho somewhere, and all of a sudden it's a freaking party. And I was always the kid that was falling asleep or next to the food eating. So I always ended up in the room where all the coats were. So I don't know, for some reason, that's just like, I can literally close my eyes and feel the coats. And hear that do, like the music, the doors closed, and I'm like, why did they put me in here?
I'm curious for you too, though. I want to hear your answer.
A lot of my memory has been erased.
Trauma.
No, I don't know what it is. The older you get, the more like chunks of memory are gone. I'm like, what happened when I was like 5? One thing that I vividly remember growing up was every summer we would go visit my grandma in the Dominican Republic, and it always felt like such a magical place to me. And I didn't know that she was living in like the hood. Like, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that she was living like in an impoverished area until I was an adult, because to me it was like
exotic.
Yeah, like this entire universe. And I have memories of, before like they paved the roads, like the roads used to be made out of like rocks and pebbles, and it, you used to walk barefoot. Like that was a thing. We just walk around barefoot, and I would walk to my cousin's house. And I would go across the street to the colmado, and I would get a malta, and I would get a little candy. And because the lady was so cool, my grandma, she'd always give me like free lollipops and stuff like that. And it just felt like literally like a different world. There was actually a point in my life after I graduated from high school where I lived in DR for a few months. I was just like, I kind of took, what do they call that? When you take like a year off? Like,
a sabbatical.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not going to college yet. I'm going to chill here. And I almost didn't come back. Yeah, the government had to come after me with they're like, you need your visa. Like, you can't stay here. I'm like, ugh. But I was so like, I'm like, this is my home. Like, I don't want to go back. Like, everything about Dominican Republic just made sense to me. But that's when I was young. And I think now when I go back as an adult, I see it now. Like, I see it for what it truly is. And it's kind of like that, like when they say, like, don't meet your heroes. Because, it's like not the disappointment, but you kind of like, it's like whiplash from like the reality of how things are, like your grandparents are getting older, things are breaking down, everything is aging, people have passed away, like the neighborhood isn't as lively as it was when you were a kid, and it doesn't feel like that fantasy, magical, exotic garden anymore. It's an impoverished area in the Dominican Republic. It's what it really is. And I think it was like so shocking and like a little bit heartbreaking for me to see it like that as an adult, because it was my favorite place when I was a kid. But I think it's made me want to go back and explore more of my roots and more of my culture. I want to visit museums in the Dominican Republic. I want to see, like monuments and artifacts, and I want to zip line, and I want to like do like non-touristy stuff. Like, I want to explore my country, because that is who I am. Even though I was born here in America, like everything is just calling me back home.
That's a good question.
I have another one. This is my last one, I promise.
Don't make it your
well, it's like a podcast here. But so you guys seem very in touch with your culture. For those that may not be in touch, or maybe you're first generation born here in the U.S., what are ways that you can get in touch with your culture, like back to the roots, things that you could do?
Listen to your body. Listen to your body. That's something that I've been doing, I will say, for like the past 2 years. I have another friend. Sorry. It's okay. I have another friend who's always telling me, because I tell her, like, I either listen to like the type of music that I was dancing to earlier, and it's almost like you can't freaking help it. Like it's in your blood. And again, with the whole religious thing, because of that, you kind of wonder if is this a bad thing or is this a good thing or um, being born in the United States, I was born in the Bronx.
Okay.
But my family is from the Dominican Republic, so that's why I can relate to this over here. Because I'm just not Dominican enough, or I'm not American enough,
Right.
and then you don't know what side you're on. So I was always like in this freaking limbo.
Yeah.
The good thing for me is that my parents used to teach English, so my first language was Spanish, even though I was born here.
Right.
And then I learned English through my parents teaching older people so they could get their citizenship. So I would go to the classes with all the old folks and try to learn English. But the thing that helped me the most is just to listen to what that calling means, because it's gonna call you back. It's gonna call you back. No matter what people say, whether they think that you are not enough for either side, you just go gravitate to where your body's taking you.
I like that. I like that.
I think for me, it was about asking questions. I was like always a really curious kid that was always just talking way too much. And I would just ask like, what is this and why and why and why? You know what I mean? I was always that kid that was asking why. And when my mom didn't have the patience for me anymore, she's like, okay, look it up on Google. I think you're right. It is like a calling, because like there was a certain point in my life where I had like an inclination to know more. And when I exhausted my mom of all the questions, I went searching like anywhere I could find, Google, YouTube videos, and when my mom said we're going to DR, you almost think I was like, I'm going with you, because I don't know, it's just like you always get called back home. You always get called back home, and music is a really big part of that, because that's something that you feel and you can't explain it. Like you don't even have to know the moves. You don't even have to ever see a tutorial. You just know what to do, and that's not a coincidence. At least I don't think so.
There are songs that are, because how we speak Spanish like super fast, and there's songs that I don't know what the hell they're saying.
Right.
But like the music, the beat is like it's so good. Like
you just.
Dun, 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 dun.
No, that was it for me. I mean, I think I just got curious and I asked a lot of questions. I taught myself how to dance. It's just like a desire.
Right.
You have to have the desire to know more, and I think it comes for everybody at a certain point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I like that. Being at Under the Coconut Tree reminded me that culture is not just history, it's something we carry that continues to shape who we are, essentially our identity. And I'm really grateful to Amber, Gigi, Create and Be Studio for creating a space where we can come together, reflect, and share what culture means. And I'm so appreciative of everyone that decided to share their voice on the podcast, because I know it's going to inspire so many people. So now I want to ask you the same question. No matter where you're coming from or listening from, what does culture mean to you? If this episode resonated and if you feel inclined, you can leave me a voicemail or reach out to me. All of the information will be down in the show notes or in the description. I would love to hear your story. Also, feel free to share with a friend, a family member, your tia, your uncle, doesn't even matter. Share the word, and feel free to leave a review to help the podcast out. Thank you so much for listening to the Real Confessions podcast. I am your host and producer, Aida Ozuna, and we'll go ahead and talk soon, okay? Get it out. Mwah.